Hi guys, Dave in Texas here, and today what I wanted to show you uh, could be the reasons why your guitar is not playing properly. Why you have an extremely strong neck pup compared to a weaker bridge pup, or vice versa. You turn both of them up to 10, but still the neck pup sounds like it's weaker. You're not getting as much volume from it. Uh, it may be the pickup itself. That's always possible because, even though they may be the same pickups, there are things that could be internally that are different. But not that's not usually the case. Usually the case I found out is that the wiring inside the guitar has got some problems, and the first thing I look at are the potentiometers. And what I did yesterday, I went out to Guitar Center and I tried to buy Gibson pots, potentiometers. And the sad part about it was I went to two different stores, and between the two stores they had one short shaft potentiometer made by Gibson and three long shafts, which are totally useless. Now this is between two other top line stores, and that's got to be a problem. I was talking to one of the sales clerks there at Guitar Center, and he told me they normally don't stock anything. They don't care what they stock. They usually run empty on everything. And the guy that works there part time repairing guitars, he has no stock to work from. He has to come out to the floor, check the parts off the floor into inventory for his repairs because he has no stock. Now, you would think people that sell these $5,000 and $6,000 guitars would have the spare parts that you could buy. I mean, would you trust a car dealership if they had no spare parts for the cars they sold? Hell no, I wouldn't. Now, obviously on these Gibsons, they have guitars that are over 50 years old that have the same potentiometers in them. And they still work perfectly because they don't fail often. But when they do fail, good luck trying to find a replacement for it at Guitar Center. You may or you may not. Now, I looked at the parts that were available from Gibson, and I thought, as a distributor for Gibson, someone should call Gibson and tell them, these guys only stock your parts, for God's sakes. Something's got to be done. Anyway, I looked at those and I thought, no, I can't use these long shafts. I'm not going to go through all that trouble to use them. And the short one is not going to do me much good. Now, normally I go into these places, I buy 8, 10, 12, 16 of these things at a time. I don't buy one at a time. And the reason why I do that, I try to match them together. On Gibsons, you'll go from 490s to up to all the way to 530 on the readings, and I try to match those as close as possible out of that group of 16, so that the pickups on the guitar sound matched as far as volume or tone are concerned. Now, these are unfamiliar to me, but I asked the salesman there, are these made by CTS, who, they do a decent job on their potentiometers. And after testing these, I don't think they are made by CTS. I'm not really sure who they're made by, but they're definitely not Chinese. At least not the type of Chinese I'm familiar with, because the Chinese, they're not brass on these screws here, on these threads, or the shaft of threads, and they're extremely lightweight for as big as they are. So these are much heavier than Chinese, and the Gibsons are twice as heavy as this, telling me that construction inside the Gibson potentiometers is much better, much more durable, and that makes sense to have one that's 50 years old and still works. They must be doing something right. However, when I picked up those ones from Guitar Center and had them in my hands, they're still in the cardboard, but for some reason they felt lighter weight than those I've been using that are the regular Gibson spec potentiometers. But in the last month, Gibson came out with what they called their vintage potentiometers, the old style. And what I'm fearing is that the supposed regular style potentiometers from Gibson is a new specification, and they're made not as well as they used to be. They're more cheaply made. On the vintage, I don't know, because of course no one stocks them. They're not even supposed to stock them, from what I understand. You have to order those from someone online, which I wouldn't order from Guitar Center if my life depended on it. But the reason why they do this at Gibson is because they charge like $8-9 for the regular spec, which is changed, and they charge $12 for the vintage ones. So I think the vintage ones are what the ones I'm used to using. Much better made, heavier duty, and true to form. But again, I can't tell it for sure because I don't have a set to compare them to. Now, when I do modifications on these guitars, I always check all my parts I'm putting in there to verify that these do go to 500K. As well as the caps, I check those in the wiring. I check it for continuity. You always check these things before you do the modification to save yourself time and trouble and the mistake of putting in a bad part. So the first thing I do, I get out my little trusty, cheaply made voltmeter, and I take the pots out of the packages, and I hook them up. Alright, try to keep this on camera as best I can. So you can see what I'm doing. Oops. And I take it all the way down to 0. Darn it. Take it all the way down to 0, right? I slowly turn it back up all the way to the top and see what I get. And I get 479. Well, 479 is not bad. That's not that much off. 21 off. I can match that with a 490 or 500. Guess what I get on this one. A 409. That's the top range of this potentiometer, 409. Now, this one is totally useless, 408, 409. I can't use this at all because I can't match it to another weak potentiometer. So that means I either throw it away or take it back to Guitar Center. And let's see, the next one would be this one. Let's hook this one up. Test it. See what I come up with. Ah, a hot one. This is a better one. Is it heavier? No. Same way as the others, but it's hotter. This is what I want to put in my volume controls. 2 of these, right? Well, so far I don't have 2 of them. I only got 1. That's what this comes out to be. Turn it all the way up. 551. So, I don't have a set of potentiometers so I can use it all. I got to take these back and exchange them, which means another trip, another hours worth of time wasted, or 2 hours actually, because the quality control at Proline sucks. I've got a 409 rated 500K potentiometer here that's totally useless to anyone who wants to use it. Sad but true. So, the worst part about this is that I would normally have bought, again, a dozen of these things, or 16 of them, to match these up. But finding out that these actually have a 409 in the mix, no, I'll never buy these again. And like I said, I sincerely doubt these are CTS, because CTS, I don't think let this shit out the door. Of course, unless they're rejects from CTS. That's me buys them up. 408, 409, that's just sad. That's just a piece of shit. How would you let that out the door? But you know, that's what you call it, Guitar Center for you. They handle cheap parts. And yeah, these are only $6 compared to the $9 for the Gibsons or $10. But then again, you can't buy the Gibsons because they don't stock them. You go in there and you see all these placards on the spare parts wall, and they're all empty. So you think, well, it's been a heavy, no, it's not been a heavy sales month. They just don't stock them. They just don't seem to give a shit. So, if you're having problems with the volumes on your guitars and you've done a recent modification and didn't check your potentiometers, you might go back and check them again and see what you come up with, because it could be surprising that you're actually have put on a very weak one that should be 500K and didn't come close. If you have any questions about this, give me a holler. It's Dave in Texas, and y'all have a good one. For me, I got to take these back to a Guitar Center and see what I can come up with. Bye.